It's not something I talk about with my friends over beer and peanuts at the bar after one of our gigs. But there was this one night, a few years ago, as Jason was pointing out the hotties who'd been sitting at the table closest to the stage, that I just kind of blurted out, Trish and I broke up. She was raped. Jason stopped mid-drink of his Bud Light and scrunched up his face and asked, "Your ex-girlfriend was raped?" He was shocked. I was shocked myself. Not because the information was new, but the two sentences I had just said didn't belong together. And I'd never said either one of them out loud. When you don't say things out loud, it only means they half exist, right? The nightmarish riddle of flashbacks began. First, looking into Trish's eyes the first time she ever told me of her assault. And ever since then, seeing how even my guy friends looked at every girl at our gigs as if their low-cut shirts were indications that they were whorishly offering themselves to us. But the pictures reeling through my mind changed. They weren't just about my friends or guys in the band. They were pictures revealing so much of the truth about me. A disturbingly different, more accurate picture began to emerge in myself, of myself. Ever since Trish and I started dating 3 years ago, ever since that night we had that conversation that I'll never get out of my head, I've always felt like sort of a rescue artist. Now, it's not that kind of rescue. It's not like I think I can fix anything that happened to Trish or any other survivor. But for the longest time, I felt like I was the one to take on all the guilt a decent man should feel about rape of another. I've carried with me the guilt of not being able to save what I cannot save. I would love to stand up here before you today and tell you that I've never thought of running away. But it's not the truth. I carry with me a sense of shame for needing to run away because I could not face the unsavable woman. I have felt the disgrace of feeling forced to choose between myself, my life, and the woman whose assault had frozen my heart with despair. For a while, the love I felt for Trish was too much to face in light of the safety I couldn't give her. I finished my beer with Jason and just went home for the night. He went home with one of those girls, and I went home with my grief. On the drive home, my armorial manhood began to unclench. It forced me to share in Trish's violation for the first time. To feel the assault on this woman that I cherished. Far easier to blame the victim than to share their helplessness, I realized. That next morning, I also realized that there's nothing to hate but violence itself. Nothing to despise but men out of control. Which plunged me into the heart of the matter. If men were rapists, so was I. My childish black and white logic told me this long before I had words for these things. I had run away from Trish because I desperately needed to save faith that men could be good and trusted. That I would never inflict such pain. Knowing Trish's story didn't let me believe this anymore. We do this, we men, very often, mostly without knowing, I think. Every day, in every country, for every reason the mind can invent on why the violence is deserved. If Eve isn't guilty somehow, we wager, bringing the blood upon herself, then Adam cannot rule the world. And so the blame-shifting lie continues. Until one day, if we're lucky and ready, we men drop the story we start to grieve. And the cycle, the ignorance comes undone. Luckily, my story is different now. I'm in love with a woman who was raped. But that doesn't make me a rapist. It makes me a man with a broken heart. I'm a part of a particular gender of people where cocks are used as weapons. But that doesn't make me a war machine. It makes me a man with a dangerous power, but not one that I have to use. Now that I've grown into a man, now that I know I'm able to love, I can say what some men do without hating myself or mistaking my power for violence. The tenderness of wolves, they call it. The exquisite absence of blood among killers. This is a tenderness that men can give women. This is a story where shame finally ends.